information and science about mental health. And today we will be discussing about time management, what might help people to manage their time better and to decrease procrastination. And have you ever looked at your to-do list and felt overwhelmed before you even have started? Have you ever spent an entire day being busy only to reach the evening feeling like nothing important actually was done? Or maybe you have promised yourself that you will start tomorrow and then tomorrow become the next week. Tonight we will be discussing about time management, productivity, how to work smarter and to stress less. So what time management actually is? When people think about time management, they often think about calendars, planners, applications and schedules. However, oftentimes it doesn't work for everyone because not all procrastination is driven because of challenges with managing their time. Sometimes it can be related with emotional regulation as well. Oftentimes we're avoiding emotions that we don't want to experience, that we might be subconsciously distracting ourselves. So one of ways of understanding this and using these strategies is noticing times when you are procrastinating and which feelings you don't want to feel and you are trying to avoid. Because it suggests time insights and clues on what you can do differently. For instance, imagine times when you were able to do your tasks on time. What was different during those times? Which environments, which people, which skills helped you to stay focused and to manage your time effectively? What was there about you that helped you to achieve this? And research on procrastination also shows something interesting, that most people do not procrastinate because they are lazy. They procrastinate because the task in front of them creates discomfort. So it may be related, maybe with that the task is too overwhelming, too big, the goal is too big, or it feels uncertain, boring, overwhelming, or emotionally demanding. So therefore, some strategies that might include to decrease these factors are breaking down your tasks into smaller pieces, uh, noticing your thoughts, or writing down your thoughts or feelings before starting the task, or reminding yourself about your why and helping yourself to get in touch with your values or what matters, and that would make this discomfort to be more likely to embrace instead of being distracted. And also asking yourself, what's the smallest step I can take towards this task right now, might help you to stay focused and on track, because once you are able to stay with the task for 5 minutes, generally the urge to procrastinate is decreasing and you will be able to stay with the task longer. And mind naturally looks for something that feels better right now whenever the urge to procrastinate comes. Maybe you start to check your messages, watch videos, scroll or organize instead of starting. Or maybe you are planning instead of acting, or thinking, overthinking, worrying, feeling anxious, and doing anything that helps you to feel relieved in a short term, however, makes you more stressed in the long term. That's why the task is still there and it's still untouched, and now the feelings of guilt and shame will be added, and there is pressure, there is less time, and in a long run this is not being useful for us and creates even more pressure, even more anxiety. Therefore, maybe asking yourself what are some consequences of procrastinating this, and how would I feel after doing or not doing this task, can be another strategy to convince yourself to stay with discomfort and starting the task and doing the task. And imagining your relationships with the time improved a little bit. Also, which thoughts we have about time management, about your time. Oftentimes we're too worried that we will be late, we won't be able to do everything on time, and even this overthinking and anxiety creates even more pressure. And when people are anxious or they are scared or they are overwhelmed, it's even more difficult to plan and manage your time and to stay present And if you are able to change your relationship with time management, if you are able to approach it with calmness, peace, then it will be easy for you to stay focused and to manage your time better. So, if you were able to have a relationship with time that would better serve you, what would be different? What difference would it create for other people? How would you know that you are already having exactly the needed, required, or useful way of approaching your time? Would you be more organized? What would you notice about yourself? Would you be more focused, less rushed, more present? And what you would be doing differently? What would other people notice you doing differently when you are able to manage your time better? And many people say, I want to stop procrastinating, but I often become curious about a different question. If procrastination already has disappeared, what would you be doing instead? What would you be feeling instead? How would you be managing your time, your skills, and how would you be relating to time differently? How would your evenings look like? How would your day look like? And what become possible if you were able to manage your time exactly the way that you want to manage? Because once we can describe what kind of future we want, we begin identifying the steps that move us toward it. And maybe you already experienced moments when you have managed your time well. Maybe there was a project you completed at time, and a week when you felt organized, or a period that you stayed focused. So what was different? What were you doing? What strengths were you using? Because those exceptions often contain important clues about what's possible. And instead of blaming yourself and asking, why am I so bad at managing time? We can start asking, when I manage my time, doing that helps. Which version of me is there? And yourself while you are trying to manage your time. Already feeling excessive guilt, shame, or you are criticizing yourself constantly, this also become a barrier for you to approach your time with love, with curiosity, and instead you will be worrying or overwhelmed or swiped away by this intense feeling. So noticing your feelings towards yourself, your approach towards yourself and towards time management is the first step that will increase your awareness and would further help you to approach time management and yourself differently. As a result, it will be easier to create change when you are experiencing positive emotions. And research by peers, Steele and colleagues suggests that procrastination is less about intentions and more about the gap between intentions and actions. Oftentimes we are so planning so long for so long, and we are overthinking, thinking about possible worst case scenarios and focusing on negativities that we forget to take steps. So each time when you catch yourself on this loop, when you are constantly thinking, when you are trying to decrease worries, or you are too much focused on your worries or emotions, asking yourself, what's the smallest step I can take right now? And taking those steps, even in the presence of uncomfortable feelings, is the first step that creates change. And also making your plans more visible, visualizing them, writing them down, putting somewhere in order for you to remember what to do are some more strategies you can use to help yourself to stay disciplined. And most procrastinators know what they should do, what they need to do, but the difficulty lies in doing it at the moment they have planned. And you also can try to notice what exactly is happening during the times when you need to do something, but it's difficult for you to do. Are you being distracted? Are you being overwhelmed? Are you being swiped by feelings? So, for instance, if the problem is distraction, you can arrange your environment in order to decrease distractions, putting away your phone, uh, finding a calm place, or finding environments that help you to stay focused, to study longer. And these are some strategies that you can play with and arrange if you want to decrease procrastination. So, and also one of ways of procrastination is caused by emotional reactions. Your brain naturally gives greater weight to immediate comfort than distant rewards. And understanding this changes the conversation, and the question becomes not how do I make starting easier, but how do we reduce barriers and friction, and how do we help our future goals compete with immediate distractions, because time management is not a scheduling problem, it's a self regulation problem. And noticing what helps us, what's useful for us, what can we do in order to start on time and to stay disciplined are some answers that only you can know, because everyone's situation is different, everyone's circumstances are different. And in psychotherapy, we're also asking people questions to better understand themselves and to find their own solutions for themselves, because everyone is unique, everyone's needs are different. Maybe we're asking the same questions everyone, but they have their different solutions and answers for that. And oftentimes another issue that we feel stuck is when we are trying to be perfect. If we want to do everything perfectly, we will be too much worried about what might go wrong, what we might do wrong, and accepting the fact that we might have some mistakes, and all of us, we are humans, we might have some errors, and taking steps even in the presence of these uncomfortable feelings, or being aware that there can be some mistakes, is another factor that helps people to stay consistent and disciplined. Because if we wait for the perfect moment, or to feel very confident, very courageous, this time might never arrive. Therefore, noticing your thoughts, diffusing from your thoughts, feelings, and instead of waiting to feel motivated, taking small steps that are possible, and uh, becoming, inviting yourself to the present moment, are some strategies and questions you can ask yourself to help to stay disciplined. And uh, also noticing moments when you are procrastinating, or it's difficult for you to manage your time. What exactly is happening? Which feelings are there? Are you avoiding anxiety? Are you avoiding fears? Are you avoiding your worries? And what would you like to feel instead if you were not feeling anxious? And which version of you would you like to see? Is it a growing version, a contributing version, a patient version, or kind version? And slowly taking steps towards that version anytime when anxiety arises, fear arises, or other uncomfortable feelings arise, is another strategy you can try. So, for instance, if you are trying to study and if anxiety is arising, remind yourself about your why, which version you want to see while you are studying. If studying is important for you because you want to contribute to other people's health, for instance, take small step towards that version, and remembering those version of you that you want to become would help you to, to, to take some steps towards that version. And according to research, oftentimes when people are under pressure, or they feel discomfort, they feel anxious, or as if they have to do certain things, this might be also creating a pressure, and they might feel uncomfortable, and subconsciously this can be one of the reasons why they are trying to avoid certain tasks. And if this is happening with you, reminding yourself about your why, and slowly telling yourself that I'm choosing to do this because it serves something important for you, and adding your reason. Maybe it's education, maybe it's growth, maybe it's health, maybe it's freedom, contribution, and reminding yourself about your meaning can also create positive energy and motivation for you, and also willingness to continue even in the presence of uncomfortable feelings and thoughts. So, when are you already managing your time even a little bit better? What's working for you? What would you, a small improvement look like this week? If you could set your goals for this week, how you would like to spend this week, if you were already using your time wisely in the manner that you want to use, what would you notice about yourself? Imagine, for instance, that this this disciplined version of you already started to show up more often. What difference would it create for other people, for the people around you, for you, and what would become possible for you if you were more disciplined and managing your time better? One of the biggest myths about productivity is that doing more things means being more productive. However, research explains different realities. Multitasking, for instance, creates performance difficulties, and when people are in environments that distracting them, or when there are a lot of tasks, it's more difficult to concentrate on your work. And the task switching also consumes attention. Each time when you are switching to another task, it takes a little more time, much more time for you to come to the level of functioning or the flow that you were at that time. And therefore, focusing just on one task, setting time and staying just with one task is one of ways of working productively and better managing your time. And if you are constantly switching the tasks, if you are multitasking, this can create mental fatigue and reduced efficiency and anxiety. So, people who experience greater perceived control over time tend to report lower stress levels and better well being. And time management training appears to improve both perceived control and stress outcome. Many people try to manage their time, but what they actually need to manage is their attention, because oftentimes this even stress is causing their attention to shift away from what possible, what might be possible, towards their worries and fears, and this is unconsciously this shift in attention creates anxiety, and they are wasting their time and using their time for worrying instead of they could use it wisely for creating, for connecting, and for doing things. For instance, a focused hour can outperform 4 distracted hours. And imagine you are trying to read a chapter while you are constantly checking notifications. The problem is not the lack of time, but the problem is fragmented attention. Each time when you are going to notifications, your attention becomes scattered, it's divided, and that's why your work will not be efficient. And focus myth. Also, many people say that I need more time, but what they frequently need is more un- uninterrupted focus. And the question becomes, what helps you to protect your attention when you are able to use your attention better, more efficiently? Which conditions help you to stay engaged? And these answers often reveal more answers, more possibilities for you, and would help you to understand what exactly. And before starting work, you can try spending minutes occupy your mind. Concerns, your worries, your feelings, ideas, appointments, responses. And this might help to clean you and refresh your mind, because unfinished mental reminders consume attention, and externalizing them creates clarity. You can try doing the same strategies before going to sleep. This would also help you to decrease overthinking and to calm down. And think of period when you manage your time relatively well. What were you doing? When were you working? some people are working better during the morning, some people are able to concentrate better at night. So finding your optimal times when you can better manage your energy and time can also serve to better manage your time for you. I hope that this webinar was helpful for you. I tried to share strategies on how you can manage your time better. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask your questions and leave your questions in the comments. Take good care of yourself and see you in the next sessions again. Bye.